Have you ever been homeless? Have you ever had to live out on the streets? To sleep on filthy sidewalks, at bus stops, in city parks, on the grass, on the dirt? No? Anyone? Thank you. Well, I have too. In 2013, at the age of 43, after 2 decades as a working visual artist and indie rock musician, I hit rock bottom. I was forced to live on the streets of Los Angeles for over a year. It was a nightmare. Somehow my good life had gone right off the rails. What happened? Well, back in 2001, I made an insanely stupid decision. I chose to start smoking crystal meth. Yeah. And I could not stop for 13 years. Every day I would smoke meth and be convinced that my life was perfect, that I was special, that I'd found this secret way to cheat the normal cycle of life with this simple, easy trick that I could stay awake for days, for a whole week, and not have to pay for it, ever. I was totally delusional. I was an addict. How many of us are addicts? How many of us are addicted to alcohol, prescription drugs, shopping, gambling, sugar, food, video games, sex? How many of us here are addicted to toxic substances, toxic behaviors? Anyone? Okay. No one? Okay, well, let's all be really, really brutally honest. How about everyone? Aren't we all addicted to energy and to the related technologies and products made with it or that produce other toxic substances as waste, fossil fuels, industrial chemical pollutants, insecticides, and artificial fertilizers for agribusiness? The list goes on and on and on and on and on. There are so many man-made toxic substances. They're used to make practically everything in our mass consumer culture. The fact is, methamphetamine, it's just another man-made chemical. And I chose to let it take over my whole life. I went from being in control to not being in control of anything at all. I did not think then, homeless, living on the streets, high on meth, that I would ever find a way back to rebuild, to recover from the nightmare I'd allowed to happen to me. But I did. On June 18th, 2014, I got off the streets and into recovery. In rehab, they told me that 8 out of 10 alcoholics and addicts never recover. They just relapse again and again. They go to prison or end up living, dying, back out on the streets. 8 out of 10. In recovery, I learned that we can heal from years, even decades of toxic abuse by looking directly at ourselves, at who we were before our addictions took hold, who we were during our addictions, and who we are now. To know ourselves. To recover is to find again, to reconnect to who we really are, who we really want to be, to work to be the best, truest us that we can be. The truest me Well, I'm an artist. As a child, I knew exactly what I wanted to be when I grew up, what I would do with my life, to make art. Now, I didn't quite fit into the normal world growing up, but that was okay because I had art, this sublime, private superpower, an infinite cornucopia of creative potential that was right there at my fingertips, inspiring me and empowering me to want to know more every single day. It filled me with a clear purpose and an intense, evolving connection to ideas, to the world, to humanity. I know that may sound a bit hyperbolic, a bit fantastical, poetic. Well, it is, but it works. When I encountered confusion or trauma, art was always there to help me, to heal me in countless beautiful ways. Addiction to crystal meth, it destroyed all of that. But in my recovery, I've reconnected to the world, to you, to myself, to my art. I've evolved an emerging public art practice where I use diverse painting and printmaking techniques on glass, along with LED lights. Electric light itself is a medium in my paintings. I make multi-layered glass paintings that literally glow from within. These are symbolic profile portraits of people, of us all, in multi-layered spaces, in a vibrant, organic universe that's alive. Intense energy, emotion, natural forms. It's filled with light and life. The people in my paintings are looking into mirrors, directly at themselves or perhaps at another person. But they are looking, searching for safe spaces to be themselves, to be and be seen, to see who they really are. Art, it's a mirror. It's our mirror. And we need mirrors to see ourselves, to know ourselves, to recover our truest selves, our honest selves. This room, this event, is full of top scientists, environmental researchers, climate activists, other artists, committed, visionary people who are on the very front lines of fighting man-made climate change, who all know better than anyone else that for over a century, we have been busy polluting our planet, choosing a whole range of essentially suicidal behaviors that involve obsessions with substances that we know are toxic. Sound familiar? Addiction. Addiction to the daily use of toxic substances, to their related technologies and products which are fast killing us all, destroying nature, literally destroying our inheritance. We're in a cycle of use and abuse, and we know it. Continuing these toxic behaviors is totally delusional. Addiction. Pulitzer Prize-winning science journalist Ed Young talks about how our relationship to nature depends on our collective decisions, and how the most essential need is for us all to engage in radical introspection, collective decisions, radical introspection, to choose to know ourselves, our communities, our cultures, our collective responsibilities to nature, to the planet. For 2 decades, I've had this quixotic, ambitious, crazy dream to make luminous glass paintings as public art. This is it. A solar-powered, luminous community center. Luminous community centers, public art spaces, buildings where we can come together to work to change our most toxic behaviors, where we can organize, choose to build truly transformative communities. This is what art can do, and it's especially what public art does, what it can be. Public art can be a true catalyst, giving us physical spaces, places to be together face to face, to heal social wounds, to focus on answers, on being connected, not divided. In the darkest, most insane, unreal moments in my life, a decade ago, homeless, addicted to meth, lost, living on the filthy streets of Los Angeles. They're not all filthy, but there's a lot of, okay. This is the singular dream that kept me alive, that kept some crucial part of me sane. I dreamed of having a home. And I dreamed of making a space where my art could be a shared, safe space for people to co-create a better world. Day and night, across class, race, gender, age, even the political divide, to find common ground and common cause, to build solidarity, to form coalitions, to leverage real change together, to form authentic human connections in communities, in our communities that have been divided, torn apart by decades, centuries of racism, sexism, colonialism, imperialism, toxic masculinity, class division, by pollution. I don't have a PhD or a master's degree, but after almost 4 decades dedicated to art, to the arts, to being an artist, I know that art can help us to save us from ourselves. A decade ago, I was lost in darkness, near death. But I found a way out, a path back to the light, to life, recovery. We have to shine that light into the darkest corners of our individual and our collective lives, on the choices we've made, on the choices that we're making. Because no matter what choices we make, one simple fact is absolutely indisputable. Yeah, I survived drug addiction. Yeah, I survived homelessness. But being homeless is simply not an option for the human species.